All right, waiting for the machine to fire up. There it is. Welcome home, Bitcoin Truth Seekers. It is Sunday, February 23rd, the year 2020. It is 1:09 p.m. here in the Arizona desert. Today's show is a little later than usual because I wanted to get a grasp on what's going on. All right, the Bitcoin is rocking, and definitely the Bart Simpson pattern, you could say, kind of completed, but I definitely would say it's kind of weak. It's not really a true Bart Simpson pattern that complete it, but regardless, we're on the way back up. So nice seeing you complete at least partially, Mr. Bart. Let's start where we always start. All right, Bitcoin, tethering in Bitcoin, 3.46 billion last 24 hours. That is not bad at all. Tethering in Bitcoin at 3.46 billion last 24 hours on a Sunday. I'll take it. All right, tether into Ethereum last 24 hours. 2.36 billion. This is not bad at all. These are numbers that we have not seen in quite a while. So it's Sunday. We've got very, very good tether into Bitcoin and tether into Ethereum. This is wonderful. I'm glad to see both these standing up strong today on a Sunday. All right, but look at volume. 650 million volume over the last 24 hours for Bitcoin. That's crap. The new standard now is over a billion for a good day. So not a great day volume-wise, but still Bitcoin is moving up, and this is good. Most of this volume was on Binance, so we'll take a look at longs and shorts there. And of course, Bitfinex and Coinbase and Kraken, none of the big ones, made over 100 million today in volume. So it's Sunday, people are asleep, people are distracted. So get frosty, time to make money. With that said, let's look at the longs versus shorts ratio on Binance. 36% shorts, 63% longs. So sentiment is long on Binance. All right, let's look at Bitcoin on the daily chart. As you can see, today is a beautiful green candle, well above the 200 moving average in blue, well above the 314 moving average in green. And the MACD, the tangent, in my opinion, the tangent has turned positive. The MACD is technically still negative, but the histogram is closing, as we can see. It's gone from heartbreak red to indifferent eggshell. So basically, we are tangenting towards the positive. This is wonderful. Nice, strong green candle today. As I am speaking at the moment, we are at 9,877. Let's look at a 4-hour candle. Now, as you can see on the 4-hour candles, I basically starting right about here. This is December 22nd, 2019. This is when we first really got back above the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. So as you can see, where we're hanging out right now, we definitely have a good deal of buy-sell volume in the VPVR at around 9,800, and that's where we're hanging out. And you can see previous support and resistance in the chart. If we go up, well, we hit previous support and resistance and buy-sell volume right around 10,300, rocking. So if we go up, our next point of real support and buy-sell volume will be 10,300. If we dump back down to the 200 moving average, hopefully we don't, we will be looking at about 9,300. So we have beautiful support and resistance and buy-sell volume supporting us at 9,300, right where we're at about 9,800. And of course, if we pump 10,300, is definitely a place of support and resistance. Now looking at the 4-hour chart, the directional index is still negative, but we are about to probably rock green. And hopefully this ADX will turn up and get above 25. Right now it looks like it's right about 25. So definitely has room to turn around, and the directional index has been negative long enough. So this is looking pretty rocking. And if we had an all-out dump, well, basically our greatest point of buy-sell volume was 8,600. We have previous support and resistance in the chart. But do note this beautiful upwards trend, this channel that we've got going, we dropped below it, and now we really are challenging it again. So with that said, I'm feeling positive on the 4-hour chart. Now, do note where we're at. Do note where we are at right now, at around 9,800. As we roll into this guy, dump it, then pump it again. He's kind of the Bart Simpson pattern maker. If we look right here, of course, we've got 9,800. Now let's look here. It's a 45-minute chart, very, very short time frame. We do have beautiful, previous support and resistance here at 9,800 where we're at. Now, we recently had a Bart Simpson pattern, And I was thinking, right here, here's an upwards Bart. This is a this is a upright Bart. Then we had a reverse Bart, and I thought, okay, we're going to turn around. I'll be honest with you. I was thinking it would be a lot sooner. I thought around here, they're usually about the same width. Well, we didn't. Not a big deal. It extended out quite a ways, and then it pumped and recovered. But if you think about it, the one thing I am noticing here is that usually a Bart Simpson pattern, you want to see it pump or dump, and then come back to the same place very quickly, like it did here. It took off, it went sideways for a while, then it returned. So I was expecting, right about here, this guy to go like this and go back to where it was, but it didn't. It stopped here. But that's not the worst thing in the world, because it's a little weak, but at the same time, if we do look here, this is a area of support and resistance in the chart. So, and also around 9,800, where we're looking at right here, is definitely a place where we do have a good deal of support resistance in the chart, and definitely a powerful amount of buy-sell volume. So I think 9,800 is a strong place for us to be right now. Directional index is green, maybe slightly heading down, but this is quite the struggle on a Sunday to get back to this point. I mean, we actually did pump a good up to about 3%. So then, of course, we recovered, we retraced a little bit. So in my opinion, as long as this 45-minute directional index stays green, and if this 4-hour directional index gets green also, and we don't dump anymore, Monday might be a ravishing, explosive day for Bitcoin. Gotta look at Ethereum, because it's doing so well. This is Ethereum versus Tether on Binance. Look at this, it's a 4-hour chart. Look at this beautiful upwards trend. So it's rocking. Directional index, though, for me right now is indecisive. But we're well above the 200 moving average. I think if Bitcoin takes off, so will Ethereum USDT. Now here's another one: Ethereum versus Bitcoin on Binance. It's looking really, really well too. But once again, directional index is a bit weak. Although we are well above the 200 moving average, have a beautiful upwards channel. So if you like Ethereum, it seems to be hanging right in there with Bitcoin, and ultimately, in some cases, making more gains. So it's awesome to see the big players, basically mooning. In my opinion, they're moving up. If Litecoin starts to really perform, I'll start, bringing that one in too. Don't want to make the show too long, but basically, Bitcoin and Ethereum looking strong. With that said, big news. Let's look at some news. And so this one's a few minutes longer than usual, but I just wanted to cover a couple things because I like to give a big picture. Bitcoin is about more than just the chart, and the world is about more than just charts, even though news may or may not affect, of course, chart movement. Still, I take it into consideration, especially right now. So, this is Bruce Fenton. This is a tweet, and it gets a little video there. It's 18 minutes long. I watched it. It's definitely worth watching if you so desire, for your consideration. Why you are out of your mind if you aren't taking action related to COVID-19. This is not fear-mongering whatsoever. He makes a very, very good point here. He just lays it down. He's got experience with such things. And also, he is one of the creators of Ravencoin. If you like RVN, we're going to talk about that at the end. This man, in my opinion, is a real genius, and he brings a real, powerful mind and powerful levity and powerful truth to an extremely powerful and important issue, a dire issue. And it's worth your time if you so desire. It's in the show notes. Check it out. And we'll talk about Ravencoin more at the end. Now, here's something else which is interesting. Now, with a understanding now, which is beginning to happen worldwide, but definitely in this country, that, hey, we depend on China too much for every little sprig and bracket and thing and tire and synthetic this and that. We're realizing that the Earth has had a single point of failure in production for a bit too long, and it's been leaned on, and it's only been made worse. Well, check this out. U.S. Bitcoin miner aims to repatriate 30% of hash rate, citing national security. So, I believe this is down in Texas, and this is a badass big Bitcoin mining operation which is being built here in the U.S. I tell you what, You know, I like being self-employed and hanging out at home and doing my thing and making money. But you know what? I got to be honest with you. If I had a chance to be a part of this, to work here, hey, if anybody who is involved in this, needs a big infrastructure guy and somebody who mines cryptocurrency themselves, give me a call, drop me a PM. I'd love to be a part of this. This is exciting, in my opinion. Link to in the show notes. I think this matters. Let's bring that hash rate back into America, where manufacturing belongs. Okay. A little bit more about coronavirus. This is Zero Hedge. Coronavirus panic goes global. I linked to it in the show notes. You can check it out. But it's not getting better. But then again, it's not nearly as dire as some people are making it out to be. But something to note, and why I'm noting coronavirus right now. Truly, this is the Bitcoin Daily View. And as we have global instability, it is my theory, for your consideration, that will pump gold and silver and also pump Bitcoin, and I believe that's already been somewhat proven in the charts. So we are not getting any greater stability. This only seems to be getting worse. I don't see some great global horrible pandemic, but I do think this is of note. And on with the show. This is a interesting forum called Godlike Productions, and this is a post that I saw today about a person who's been going to the same Costco for like 6 years. They get there in the morning, and this morning they noticed big lines. And there's even hints, if you follow this thread, of the point of sale system actually now stopping you and going beep. You need a manager's override to prevent from hoarding if you buy too many of a certain thing. So take note. Nothing like this just happens. It takes planning. So Costco, this is only alleged, but they might actually be putting in some hoarding controls into their point of sale systems. Anyway, just rumor. I can't say that as fact, but keep it in mind. Also, a little bit more about how the world is changing. Yes, through disaster comes opportunity. The eye mask. Companies race to build the next generation of faceware to block germs. Honestly, guys, I'll just go down with the ship. I don't want to wear that stupid ass looking thing. I want to wear a Dyson on my face to go outside. This stuff is serious, or at least it's being perceived as, and that will create market instability, and that will create amazing opportunities to make money. And while you're cruising your Lambo, you can sport your badass Dyson face suction cup. Well, with that said, let's keep moving. Bitcoin, the golden 51-49 ratio, 600 days of bull market left. This just basically covers, this guy really broke it down beautifully, the halvings and this cycle, and be it as it may, it does appear that it has played out previously. Of course, future, past is not necessarily like no trend, no matter how strong it actually predicts the future. But if you feel like linking to it in the show notes, or if you're on TradingView, you already may have seen it in your suggested, post. You may have seen it already. This is definitely getting around the internet. But if he is correct, as we approach this halving, and especially when we hit it, Lambo season, nice to see, for your consideration. All right, I've been a member of blockchain education for over 2 years, and I have definitely learned in any market how to make money, whether Bitcoin is positive or negative, whether it's alt season or not. There's always money to be made, and this blockchain education has helped me do it. If you click on the affiliate link in the description, you can watch a video that tells you more about it. I'd love to see you there. I'm Cowboy Craig in the chat, and I'm going to sneak you a little peek at some of the calls. These are older. These are all many days old, but as you can see, you can enter these manually when they come out, or you can be auto-entered in the hybrid system, and then you can set a take profit level where they sell. I tend to do around 2%, and I just make money all day. So with that said, these are older calls, so I'm not giving anything, away that would, piss off blockchain education or active members. But basically, hey, join the team, because not only are there great signals, but it is a place to truly deep down learn how to trade crypto. And there's upgrades coming to the system in the next couple of days, literally, that make the hybrid system way better than it has ever been. And I would love to see you there in the chat. I'm Cowboy Craig. Say hi when you show up. Obstacles can't stop you, weather can't stop you, heartbreak can't stop you, failure cannot stop you, or believe me, it would have stopped me. Anyway, only you can stop you, so keep hammering. And one last little note. Okay, it's a 4-hour chart, Raven coin, RVN, little alt tip. Now, not financial advice, I'm just telling you something that I'm looking at and something that I'm doing. 4-hour chart, Raven coin. Here is the 200 moving average. Here's the 314 moving average in purple. So we basically found some support here in the 314 moving average. Now if we start to move up and cross that 200, well, look what happened last time. Boom. How many percent was that? Bam. You could have made an easy 20% before it started to turn around. Or you could have hung out longer and made even more. But moves across this 200 moving average are quite explosive. These are things you learn at blockchain education. Well, right now our directional index is definitely in the red. So what I'm watching for here on the 4-hour chart is this directional index to turn green and us begin to move across that 200 moving average. And look what happened last time. We moved over. Once you get a little bit of confirmation of that over, you hop in there, put a stop. This is the 200 moving average at the time. So it gets over. It starts to gain a little bit of momentum, and then boom. So the moment we get above that 200 moving average, and it looks like we're going to stay there, I'll be putting in a trade, and I'll be putting a stop right underneath that 200 moving average, and boom. Let's see what happens. Definitely before I actually get in that trade, I'll want to see a green directional index, and I'll want to see the ADX above 25. So this indicator is linked to in the show notes. Now with that said, I'm going to show you a little bit more of a setup that I do. This is 45-minute chart. This is a shorter time frame, so of course we're going to see action happening quicker. Here we see a stronger directional index, but still actually it's weak right now. But what I'm going to do here is put an alarm in, an alert, and I'm going to say when this is crossing up, crossing over basically the 200 moving average, I want you to boom, let me know, because that'll happen long before the 4-hour one does. So with that said, when I see that alert later on, if I'm not predisposed, if I come and look on this short time frame, I've got a positive directional index and my ADX is above 25, well, I'm going to consider getting in if we're looking like we're going to have support and say about that 45, that 200 moving average. And of course, like I say, I'll also be taking a look at the 4-hour. Maybe I'll wait until we're actually over on the 4-hour also. But regardless, this looks like it's getting ready to make a move. So there's my, not financial advice, but tip. That's what I'm doing. I thought I'd just hook you up. If you like that, if you like me going over an alt that looks like it's going to perform, drop me a comment and say, hey, throw an alt in at the end, and I will. And regardless, hey guys, keep hammering. Like, share, subscribe, comment, click on the bell, and truly, if you like the alt, give me a shout out and say I like the alt, and I'll keep adding that when one looks really like a good sweet setup. With that said, I'll say it again, obstacles can't stop you, weather can't stop you, heartbreak can't stop you, failure can't stop you, stop losses can't stop you, only you can stop you. Keep hammering, and I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm glad you're here for the peaceful revolution. It matters.